All right. Hello. Welcome to Eastern religions and the final religious day before we move on to early civilizations and move country to country. I think it's so important to have this foundation of different faiths, how they changed the world, how they moved with traded goods, because one of the things, have this be your first of 7 notes for the day: cultural diffusion. Write it down. Cultural diffusion. Diffusion is Diffusion. That means that when you come into contact with people, you end up influencing them. I hope at the end of the year you're not exactly the same student you were for me when you walked in, and vice versa. I hope at the end of the year I'm a better teacher or a better person for having met you. I really do mean that. And what I mean is, like, you fill me in on stuff that I don't know about: pop culture, what's going on at the school, what's going on with events, activities, what you're learning in other classes. And I hope that I'm able to impart to you, like, things that I've done or been successful with, or accomplishments that I could help you get started, or a letter recommendation that I can give you. It's diffusion. It's me helping you, you helping me, and us being changed for having met. When cultures diffuse, think about the last time we went to a mall. It might have been a while, but a food court that has Mexican food, Korean food, Chinese food, Italian food, all in the same spot, that's cultural diffusion. It's because people moved to this country, brought their customs and traditions. We all love to celebrate good food. We marketed that, blended it with capitalism, and because of that, you're able to buy almost any food you want online, even, and get it delivered to your door, because we have people from all over and their cultures have diffused. So in these early days, like in early chapters of our textbook, you can't understand any civilization without understanding, once we built roads and met each other, all these ideas flowed with all the goods that we traded. So today, just like before, 7 significant notes. How do these Eastern religions change the world? We're going to talk about Hinduism and Buddhism. And if you have questions about other faith traditions, throw them in, and we can look up information in the chat box after. Hinduism, which developed thousands of years ago. It's older than Christianity, older than Islam, twice as old as Judaism. Isn't that crazy? We think that's like the beginning of time. It's so not, right? We have so much culture before then. Hinduism developed in modern India, where India is today. And the traditions have shaped Indian life, even modern world. It's huge today, including their diets and exercise, art, literature, meditation. It's changed the way that people think and do things around the world. This woman's making her morning offering to the Hindu god Ganesh. You've probably seen Ganesh before. It looks like an elephant. And this is in a temple in Indonesia. No clear starting point. That's kind of neat, isn't it? Like, we have a person or a book or a text that we credit all the other religions to. Not this one. This began in the River Valley and spread throughout India. Some people who study history think that it began about 2,000 years before Judaism, or 2,000 years before Christ was born, I should say. People who were walking from place to place, nomadic people called the Aryans, entered India from Central Asia. They spoke Indo-European languages, and they brought with them gods from their different cultures. But other scholars think that it developed in the subcontinent and just spread with local traditions and stories. It includes a wide range of beliefs. There's no Hindu Bible. There's no Hindu 10 Commandments. Hinduism has no founder and no single book. There are over 750 million Hindus in the world, the third most popular religion in all the globe. For many, it's a matter of practice rather than beliefs. It's more about what you do than what you think or what you say. Behind that is the belief that we're all trapped in some kind of death, birth, rebirth cycle. Every Hindu wants to escape this cycle, and they hope to live a better life that lets them advance to higher levels than before. And when you're reborn, it depends on how good your karma was, or the value of the goods and the actions that you took. Maybe make that one of your 7 notes. How would it change your life if 700 million people in your country thought that your actions, not your words, but the way you live, determined your next life? What do you think that effect would be? You can use that as one of your notes to answer that question. I'll give you 1 minute to do that. So, the roots of Hinduism are found in the Vedas. That's a collection of sacred literature, verses, hymns, prayers, poems, teachings that address the various gods and sing their praise. The teachings were passed down from generation to generation in Sanskrit, which is first told by storytellers and then in writing. Understanding changed and spread to other countries like Indonesia, Cambodia, and Thailand over time. Again, as they traded goods, they would talk about faith and beliefs too. People that live in harmony with the teachings, the philosophies, and the dharma of the natural law get to move closer towards moksha. It's kind of like nirvana, the escape from the cycles of birth and death. Moksha. Hindus believe the universe doesn't have a beginning or an end. It's a cyclical pattern, so once it ends, it starts again. One attains moksha when you've overcome ignorance and become more enlightened. All good things in life are gifts from God. Finding out what your life's calling is a very important goal. And being a fair and decent person is very important. So here you go. Like, a lot of things are different than Western religions that we might have in our classroom or in Brentwood or in California. But what's similar is that, like, you should be grateful for things, you should find your calling, live your full potential, and be nice to people on your way up. Like, that seems pretty simple and relative. It also says watch out for wealth and power because it's fine, but those goals become too important and get in the way. 4 stages of life. Your education right now, you get married, have a family, then you become a mentor to young people to help them. And at age 72, give up everything you got, you pray and devote, and it's time to start escaping the cycle. What do you think about that? How would that change if that were your culture? How would that change the way things happen in your value system? There are hundreds or thousands of gods. There's only one ultimate god, Brahman, but it shows itself in many forms. Vishnu and Shiva, for example, are different aspects. Brahma reflects the god's work of creating the universe, and Vishnu reflects God's work in keeping the universe in existence. Here are just some of the major and popular gods. This is from our textbook. This is a temple in Singapore, richly decorated with, I don't know, it looks like about 100, maybe a little less than 100 of the gods and sculptures. Cool, we got one more to cover, so finish your 7 notes in the Buddhism category, and we will spend some more time together talking about these philosophies, and you'll probably have some time today to work on your news you can use if you didn't already complete that. And if you have any other late work, you can go back and watch those assignments that are posted and get some work done on that during today's hour. Let's break down Buddhism, the 4th most popular religion in the world. This was founded about 500 BC. So, again, older than Judaism and Christianity. Siddhartha Gautama became the Buddha when he was 29. He was a rich prince. And one day he wandered outside the castle or his wealthy estate, and he was really sad by all the poverty that he saw in the world. It was shocking. He'd never seen anything like that. He was trying to find the true meaning of life, and eventually he found it through meditation and trance-like stages. And his goal of his system was to eliminate human suffering. So he was shocked by the reality of how many people were sick and dying outside of his kingdom. So soon after, he left his comfortable life of wealth to wander across India, embrace poverty, and search greater truth. The beliefs are fairly simple. They're known as the 4 Noble Truths. So you have the 10 Commandments, Judaism, Christianity. You have the 5 Pillars of Islam, among other guidelines and rules. 4 Noble Truths. So the shortest list is in Buddhism. The first says, suffering's present in all things, and nothing lasts forever. Disease, loss, and death are inevitable, so a Buddha should recognize this reality and offer kindness and compassion to those who are suffering. The second one says, the main way that suffering comes is from wanting things, desiring things. This means that the desire for pleasure, power, or possessions gives rise to suffering. Emotional attachment is another form of desire. And I used to think about that in the sense of, like, if you've ever really wanted a Christmas present, it was never the last Christmas present you wanted, right? No matter how great the gift was, you were always going to need or want something different. The third truth says, removing desire removes suffering. So try to remove possessions and physical goods as a need. And the fourth one says, the way to remove that desire, the way to achieve that goal is to follow the Eightfold Path. It's a set of guidelines, and here they are from our textbook. You need to practice right understanding to deeply get what the Four Noble Truths are. Right purpose, to be selfless, to love people, to embrace nonviolence. Third, in your speech, to be careful and truthful in what you say. Right action, don't kill, steal, lie, or hurt others. That's like a few commandments in there, right? Right livelihood, earn a living in ways that don't harm people. Wow. Imagine that like 2,500 years ago when you're controlled by a feudal lord or a king and you're like, excuse me, sir, you need to earn a living in a way that doesn't hurt people down below. How different that would be if that was a value that was held by the entire world. Right effort, promote good actions and prevent evil ones. Right mindfulness, be aware of but not attached to your emotions, thoughts, or feelings because they're not permanent. And right concentration, focus your mind with practices such as meditation. Pretty simple, right? I think of all the faiths we cover, you get through these the fastest. And it's simple, but with that simplicity, kind of like a video game like Pac-Man. I think you've all played Pac-Man, right? I know it's from like 1985, and it was before I was born, so don't judge me. But it's an easy game to understand, but a hard game to master. And so when people are really dedicating their life to it, Buddhist monks renounce worldly possessions and dedicate their lives to contemplation. And just like I said for Islam, Christianity, Judaism, not everyone is as observant or as strict with their followings. Not everyone is a Buddhist monk who practice Buddhist philosophies. But there are monasteries throughout the world where people do. Tough to master. Takes a lifetime. And not everyone succeeds. Sweet. Covered a lot. We're going to stop here. This is the end of our religion section. What I want to talk about is how you enjoyed it. Was it worth it? Did you learn new things? Did you come away with some new conclusions? Are the 7 things you wrote down something you can remember that might be good to understand when you meet people in your life who have these traditions in their families? Cool. The assignment for today, once you're done with your 7 notes, is to make a 10-question quiz on any of the 4 religions we studied. Could be from your notes, the videos, some quick web searches. Write a question and some possible answers. No true false. Please don't copy directly from the internet. I catch that every time because I can just copy and paste the text and see that it comes up exactly in a search result. It could be key terms. It could be definitions. It could be people or places or things. Give me a 10-question quiz. I thought this would be a little more intriguing than giving you a quiz. You give me 10 questions and tell me what the answers are. And if you do a good job, it's thorough, it's thoughtful, and it's varied, a little bit from every faith that we covered, you will get full points. Brad, HaugerD@luhsd.net. Now let's talk. Let's answer any questions you have in the chat box. Continue to look up those answers. And let's see how everyone's understanding. All right, let's do that. Jumping in. Thanks, guys.